Verse for opening a sutra. The unsurpassed, profound, and wonderful Dharma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of aeons. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning. The Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 1. The Wondrous Adornments of the Rulers of the Worlds. Sutra. At that time, Celestial King, skilled at transformations, received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of the heavens of skillful transformation, and spoke the following verse. The nature of karma of those in the world is unthinkable. To the confused multitudes, the Buddha makes a thorough revelation. He skillfully explains the true meaning, underlying causes and conditions, as well as how karma differs with each and every being. They try to visualize the Buddha in many ways, but to no avail. They seek him throughout the 10 directions, but cannot find him. The Dharma body manifests, but is not real and actual. Silent sound perceives this Dharma. Throughout oceans of aeons, the Buddha cultivated many practices, wishing to destroy the foolish and dark delusions in the world. Therefore, his purity shines most brightly. Powerful illumination is enlightened thus. All the exquisite sounds in the world cannot rival the thus come one sound. The Buddha fills the 10 directions with a single sound. Lord of Adornment enters this liberation. The power of blessings amassed by those in the world cannot match even a single attribute of the thus come one. The thus come one's blessings and virtue are identical with space. The God light of mindfulness perceives thus. Countless aeons throughout the 3 periods of time, as well as the different features related to their formation and decay, are completely displayed in a single pore of the Buddha. Tremendous thundercloud knows this state. The volume of space throughout the 10 directions can be known, but the scope of the Buddha's pores cannot be measured. This inconceivable state of non-obstruction is understood by Celestial King Wonderful Call. Throughout immeasurable aeons in worlds long past, the Buddha thoroughly cultivated vast great paramitas, tirelessly practicing with ever diligent vigor. Joyful wisdom knows this Dharma door. The causes and conditions that result in karma are hard to fathom, yet the Buddha explains them for everyone in the world. The Dharma nature is fundamentally pure and undefiled. This is the place of entry for flower light. You should contemplate the single pore of the Buddha, for all beings are found within it, yet they neither come nor go. King universally viewing understands thus. Moreover, Celestial King Contentment gained a passage into liberation, of encountering the turning of the wheel of perfect teaching. Each time a Buddha appears in the world, Celestial King Happiness like an ocean and a call gain a passage into liberation, of obtaining the pure bright body that pervades space. Celestial King Banner of supreme merit and virtue gain a passage into liberation, of making an ocean of pure vows that dispels the world's sufferings. Celestial King Quiescent Light gain a passage into liberation, of manifesting a body everywhere to speak the Dharma. Celestial King Good Eyes gain a passage into liberation, of universally purifying the realms of all sentient beings. Celestial King Moon at Jewel Peak gain a passage into liberation, of having access to an inexhaustible treasury used in universally transforming those in the world by appearing before them often. Celestial King, courageous strength, gain a passage into liberation, of revealing the state of all Buddha's proper enlightenment. Celestial King, Vajra, wonderful brightness, gain a passage into liberation, of making firm all sentient beings' resolve for Bodhi, rendering it indestructible. Celestial King, banner of stars, gain a passage into liberation, of drawing near to all Buddhas during the time in the world and observing the skill and means they use to tame and subdue sentient beings. Celestial King, wonderful adornment, gain a passage into liberation, of fully knowing sentient beings' thoughts in a single thought and manifesting according to their potentials. At that time, Celestial King, Contentment, received the Buddha's awesome might, contemplated the multitudes of heavens of contentment, and spoke the following verse. The thus come one, vast and great, pervades the Dharma realm. Towards all sentient beings, he is completely equal and level. Everywhere responding to the multitudes, he expounds doors of wonder, causing them to enter inconceivable pure dharmas. The Buddha's body appears everywhere in the 10 directions. Without attachment, without obstructions, it cannot be grasped. Those in the world can see his various physical features. Thus enters the God happiness like a call. In the past, the thus come ones cultivated numerous practices. Their pure, tremendous vows are deep like the ocean. All Buddha Dharmas were brought to perfection. Supreme virtue knows this skill and means. The thus come one's Dharma body defies conceptualization, casting reflections throughout the Dharma realm. Everywhere he elucidates all dharmas. The God quiescent light gained this liberation. Sentient beings are fettered and covered over by karma and delusion. Prompted by pride, arrogance, and indulgence, their minds drift and wander. The thus come one speaks still and quiescent dharmas for them. Good eyes knows this from reflecting, and his heart rejoices. The true teacher of all those in any world, manifests to rescue beings and bring them back to a serene haven universally revealed. Moon at the peak enters this in depth. Inconceivable is the state of each Buddha, pervading all Dharma realms. They enter all Dharmas and reach the other shore. Courageous wisdom sees thus and rejoices. Sentient beings ready for transformation head towards Bodhi upon hearing of the Buddha's meritorious virtue. He causes them to abide in the ocean of blessings forever pure. Wonderful brightness contemplates thus. In oceans of lands numerous as motes of dust in the 10 directions, all beings flock to the Buddhas and congregate to pay respects, make offerings, and hear the Dharma. A dawn banner perceives thus. Inconceivable is the ocean of sentient beings' thoughts, without dwelling, movement, or a place to rely. In a single thought, the Buddha sees it with total clarity. The God wonderful adornment understands this well. Moreover, Celestial King, time division, gain a passage into liberation, of helping all sentient beings' good roots grow, forever delivering them from worry and distress. Celestial King, charming light, gain a passage into liberation, of universally entering all states. Celestial King, infinite wisdom and banner of meritorious virtues, gain a passage into liberation, of eradicating all misfortune by means of the wheel of great compassion. Celestial King, well able to transform and adorn, gain a passage into liberation, of comprehending the minds of all sentient beings in the three periods of time. Celestial King, great light of uniting and upholding, gain a passage into liberation, of access to the illumination of the gate of Dharani, by which he firmly recollects all dharmas without forgetting them. Celestial King, inconceivable wisdom, gain a passage into liberation, of using the inconceivable expedience of the inherent nature to skillfully enter all karma. Celestial King, chakra navel, gain a passage into liberation, of expediently bringing beings to maturity by turning the Dharma wheel. Celestial King, blazed of light, gain a passage into liberation, of everywhere observing sentient beings with vast, great eyes, and then going to tame and subdue them. Celestial King, brightly shining, gain a passage into liberation, of transcending all karmic obstacles and abjuring the deeds of demons. Celestial King, universally contemplating those with great renown, gain a passage into liberation, of deftly and teasing and instructing the celestial multitudes, encouraging them to purify their minds through practice. At that time, Celestial King, time division, received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of the time division heavens, and spoke the following verse. The Buddha, throughout measureless aeons in the distant past, has drained the oceans of worry and distress in the world. He extensively blazes a path, free of dust, one of purity, and acts as a wisdom lamp that forever shines upon sentient beings. The dust come one's Dharma body is colossal. To the limits of the 10 directions, it cannot be apprehended. His expedients are limitless and measureless. The God-charming light enters this with his wisdom. The woes of birth, old age, sickness, death, worry, and grief oppress those in the world without respite. The great Master, out of pity, vows to dispel them. Infinite wisdom light enlightens thus and understands. Unimpeded like an illusion, the Buddha's wisdom fathoms all dharmas of the three periods of time, universally penetrating the mental activities of sentient beings. This is a state of God well able to transform. The boundaries of uniting and upholding cannot be obtained. His vast ocean of eloquence also is without end. He may turn the pure, wonderful Dharma wheel. This is the liberation of Celestial King, great light. Although the nature of karma is vast, great, and inexhaustible, enlightened by wisdom, the Buddha deftly reveals and expounds upon it. His expedients defy conceptualization. The God wisdom enters thus, turning the inconceivable wonderful Dharma wheel, displaying the cultivation of the Bodhi path, forever destroying the sufferings of sentient beings. This is the ground of skillful means of chakra navel. The dust come one's true body is fundamentally non-dual, responding to beings according with their forms it feels the world. Each being sees the Buddha appear before him. This is a state of the God blaze of light. If sentient beings see the Buddha but once, they may surely purge themselves of all karmic obstacles and forever abandon all demonic karma so none remains. Celestial King, brightly shining, walks this path. Among all in the extensive ocean-wide assembly, the Buddha is the most awesome and dazzling. He sprinkles Dharma rain everywhere to nourish sentient beings. Renown enters this passage into liberation. Moreover, Celestial King Chakra Indra gain a passage into liberation, of experiencing great happiness, of recollecting the appearance of Buddhas of the three periods and clearly see everything, including the formation and decay of their lands. Celestial King, universally praised full voice, gain a passage into liberation. Celestial King, universally praised full voice, gain a passage into liberation of being able to realize how the Buddha's physical body comes to be the most pure, vast, and peerless in the world. Celestial King, compassionate eyes and precious call, gain a passage into liberation of having cloud of kindness cover all. Celestial King, jewel-like banner of renown, gain a passage into liberation of constantly seeing the Buddhas and manifesting awe-inspiring bodies of various shapes and forms before all rulers of the worlds. Celestial King, inspiring happiness call, gain a passage into liberation of knowing the karma of blessings that produces the cities, villages, and palaces of all sentient beings. Celestial King, proper mindfulness, gain a passage into liberation of revealing the deeds of all Buddhas that bring sentient beings to maturity. Celestial King of lofty splendid sound, gain a passage into liberation of knowing the changing characteristics of the aeons of formation and decay in all worlds. Celestial King, fulfilling intentions, gain a passage into liberation of pondering future Bodhisattva's practice of taming sentient beings. Celestial King, pure floral light, gain a passage into liberation of apprehending the causes underlying the joy of all the gods. Celestial King, eyes of wisdom sun, gain a passage into liberation of revealing to all gods the good roots by which they attain rebirth, freeing them from delusion. Celestial King, effortless light, gain a passage into liberation of enlightening all the celestial multitudes, forever severing their myriad doubts. At that time, Celestial King Akra Indra received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of the heavens of 33, and spoke the following verse. I reflect upon the Buddhas of the three periods of time, how all their states are level and equal, the decay and formation of their lands, the Buddha's awesome spirit makes visible to all. The Buddha's body, vast and great, pervades the 10 directions. His wondrous, unrivaled form benefits all beings. His brilliance bedazzles all and everywhere. Universally praised, contemplates and sees this path. The thus come one's experience emanates from this ocean of great kindness. In ages past, his cultivation was extremely pure. As he transformed and guided boundless sentient beings, Celestial King, precious call, enlightens thus. As I recall the Dharma King, sees of meritorious virtue, supreme and unequaled in all the world, immense happiness swells in my heart. This is the liberation of the God-jeweled light. The Buddha knows sentient beings' ocean of good karma, the various supreme causes leading to bounteous blessings. All are revealed without remainder. The God call of happiness sees thus. The Buddhas appear throughout the 10 directions, everywhere pervading all worlds. Observing the minds of sentient beings, they manifest to tame them. Celestial King, proper mindfulness enlightens to this path. Wide, enormous eyes of the dust come one's wisdom body, see all the motes of dust in all worlds without exception, universally pervading the 10 directions. This is the liberation of the God cloud sound. The Bodhi practices of all disciples of the Buddha fully appear in the pause of the dust come one, in all their measureless perfection. Celestial King intentions perceives this with clarity. All peaceful, happy events in the world arise because of the Buddha, supreme and unparalleled is the thus come once meritorious virtue. Floral King enters this place of liberation. If one recalls an iota of the thus come once meritorious virtue, or produces even one thought or devoted admiration, the terrors of all evil paths will forever be dispelled. Eyes of wisdom awakens profoundly thus. Within quiescent dharmas, great spiritual powers respond to the minds of all beings everywhere. All doubts and delusions are severed. This is the attainment of King Bright Light. Moreover, Celestial Prince Sun gain a passage into liberation of universally radiating pure light on sentient beings of the 10 directions, constantly benefiting them to the ends of time. Celestial Prince Bright Flaming Eyes gain a passage into liberation by means of a body according with all categories and awakening sentient beings, causing them to enter the ocean of wisdom. Celestial Prince Sumeri-like banner of happiness gain a passage into liberation of acting as Lord of all sentient beings, causing them to diligently cultivate boundless pure merit and virtue. Celestial Prince Immaculate Jeweled Moon gain a passage into liberation of rejoicing profoundly from cultivating all ascetic practices. Celestial Prince Non-Retreating Courage gain a passage into liberation of universally radiating unobstructed light, causing all sentient beings to increase their vigor and energy. Celestial Prince Brilliance from Exquisite Flower Garlands gain a passage into liberation of universally shining pure light upon sentient beings' bodies, engendering an ocean of happiness, faith, and understanding. Celestial Prince Supreme Banner Light gain a passage into liberation of universally shining light on beings in the world, so that they successfully complete all kinds of wonderful meritorious deeds. Celestial Prince Jewel called Universal Light gain a passage into liberation of the ocean of great compassion, from which he manifests boundless states involving gems of various shapes and forms. Celestial Prince Bright Eyes gain a passage into liberation of cleansing and healing the eyes of all sentient beings, enabling them to see the treasury of the Dharma realm. Celestial Prince Upholding Virtue gain a passage into liberation of bringing forth a pure, continuous mind, which is never ravaged or lost. Celestial Prince Universal Revolving Radiance gain the passage into liberation, whereby solar palaces orbit everywhere, shining on all sentient beings of the 10 directions, so that they successfully complete their work. At that time, Celestial Prince Sun received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of celestial princes of the sun, and spoke the following verse: The thus come one's tremendous light of wisdom universally illumines the lands of the 10 directions. All sentient beings see the Buddha. Variously and by the use of numerous expedient means, they are tame. The thus come one's physical form is boundless. He manifests a body commensurate with the likes of sentient beings, opening everywhere the ocean of wisdom for all in the world. Flaming Eyes contemplates the Buddha in this way. The Buddha's body is peerless and beyond compare. His resplendent light floods the 10 directions, surpassing everything the most supreme. This Dharma door is attained by happiness. To benefit the world, he cultivates ascetic practices, traversing all realms of existence across the measureless aeons. Pure and pervasive as space is his radiance. Jeweled Moon knows this skill and means. Unobstructed, the Buddha's concert of wonderful sounds pervades all lands of the 10 directions. With the flavor of Dharma, he benefits all creatures. Courage knows this expedient device. He releases an inconceivable net of light, universally purifying all sentient beings, inspiring profound faith and understanding in everyone. The God flower garlands enters this door. All the lights in the world do not equal the light within a single pore of the Buddha. The Buddha's light is just this inconceivable. This is the liberation of supreme banner light. The Dharma of all Buddhas is thus: they sit beneath the Bodhi, king of trees, causing those who stray to abide in the path. Jewel core light sees thus: sentient beings are blind, dark, and trapped in woeful ignorance. The Buddha bids them to open their eyes of purity. Therefore he lights the wisdom lamp for their sakes. Good eyes contemplates this profoundly. Liberated, expedient, honored one of ease and comfort, if sentient beings but see him once and make offerings to him, they are caused to cultivate untold fruition. This is the God virtue's power of expedience. Measureless doors within the single Dharma door. Through measureless thousands of aeons I extol. The Dharma doors so proclaimed, prolific in meaning, are understood by the God universal revolving radiance. Moreover, celestial Prince Moon gain a passage into liberation of universally radiating pristine light throughout the Dharma realm, gathering in and transforming sentient beings. Celestial Prince, King of Flowers, call, gain a passage into liberation of observing the realms of all sentient beings, causing them to universally enter boundless dharmas. Celestial Prince, all manner of pure and wonderful radiance, gain a passage into liberation of understanding the ocean of sentient beings' minds and various ways in which they are influenced by opportunism. Celestial Prince, instilling peace and joy in the hearts of the world, gain a passage into liberation of bestowing inconceivable bliss upon all sentient beings, so that they jumped for joy. Celestial Prince, bright eyes of the King of Trees, gain a passage into liberation, at all times protecting the work of farmers, such as the growth of seeds, sprouts, stems, and so forth, causing them to thrive. Celestial Prince, manifesting pure light, gain a passage into liberation of saving and protecting all sentient beings with kindness and compassion, enabling them to witness experiences of suffering and joy. Celestial Prince, universally roaming yet unmoving light, gain a passage into liberation of universally appearing in the 10 directions, holding the pure moon. Celestial Prince, sovereign constellation king, gain a passage into liberation of revealing all dharmas to be illusory, resembling space, lacking characteristics and an inherent nature. Celestial Prince, moon of pure enlightenment, gain a passage into liberation of giving rise to great deeds and functioning for the sake of all sentient beings. Celestial Prince, great majestic light, gain a passage into liberation of everywhere severing all doubts and delusions. At that time, Celestial Prince Moon received the Buddhist awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the celestial multitudes in all the moon palaces, and spoke the following verse. The Buddha emits light pervading the whole world, illumining lands of the 10 directions, proclaiming inconceivable vast great dharmas, destroying forever the darkness of sentient beings' delusion. His states are boundless and without end. Throughout measureless aeons, constantly he teaches and guides, transforming all sentient beings with various modes of self-mastery. Flower Call contemplates the Buddha in this way. The ocean of sentient beings' minds varies in every thought. The Buddha's extensive, profuse wisdom knows this all. Everywhere he speaks Dharma, bestowing happiness. This is the liberation of wonderful radiance. Sentient beings lacking the joyful serenity of sages, and mired and confused on evil paths, endure all miseries. The thus come one shows them the door of the Dharma nature. Peace and joy beholds and reflects upon this. Rare is the thus come one's great kindness and compassion. To benefit sentient beings, he enters all realms of existence. Speaking Dharma, he exhorts them to goodness, helps them succeed. This is what the God bright eyes understands. The world-honored one expounds the Dharma's brightness, differentiating the nature of all karma in the world. Good and evil deeds are never destroyed. Upon seeing this, pure light rejoices. The Buddha is the mainstay of all blessings, just like the great earth upholding palaces. Cleverly he reveals a path of security and peace free from anxiety. The unmoving one knows this expedient means. The brilliant blaze of Buddha's wisdom fire pervades the Dharma realm. He manifests countless bodies, equal to all sentient beings. Everywhere for one and all, he opens up the true and actual. The God Constellation King awakens to this path. The Buddha, like empty space, has no intrinsic nature. Wishing to benefit sentient beings, he appears in the world. Adorned with fine marks and characteristics, a reflection. Celestial King Pure Enlightenment perceives thus. From all the pores of the Buddha's body issue universal sounds. His Dharma cloud blankets the entire world. Those who hear also delight in it without exception. The God light has awakened to this liberation.